All right, looks like we're live. Let's just make sure this is going out okay onto the old YouTubes. Come on. Come on. Come on. Doesn't look like it is. Huh. That's really weird. Is it not going live? Am I not live yet? It says I'm live. Oh, there it is. Okay, it was just massively delayed. All right. So let's see. What did I want to talk about before I was so horribly distracted by the fact that I didn't think I was live? Shit. Oh man. I finally got caught up on some VidMe shit. I got the Castlevania 2 one recorded. I got a little video, the audio for a video on why I don't think the new kind of rebooted Tomb Raider is any good. I missed Tomb Raider when it was actually fun and sexy and had, she had big tits and it wasn't all grim and gritty and quote unquote realistic and giant fucking air quotes. And what was the other one I did? Oh, I did a little one for Halloween. I don't want to spoil that one. But that one should actually go live on Halloween. There's a couple more I want to do. But I wanted to at least get the VidMe channel sat for too long. I wanted to get them all recorded last night, but I just had a ripping fucking headache and I couldn't get the dog to shut up for a while long enough. Oh man, I had a ripping headache. I gave up soda this week, so I've been having a bit of a caffeine withdrawal. I think that's part of the reason I've been cranky as shit this week. But yeah, I think it was Sunday. It was the last time I had a soda, or maybe it was Saturday. And, trying to eat right, trying to cut all that junk out, lose some weight and shit like that. And it's amazing too when you go to the grocery store and you're actually trying to eat right. It's amazing. It's a big giant grocery store. I mean, in many ways, we all like to shit on modernism and the modern world. No, but can we all step back for a second? Yes, there are some major problems in the modern world, but we got shit pretty good. Okay. In fact, our biggest problems come from having things too good. We're fat and we're lazy because we just have things too good. So at a certain point, like, step back and be fucking thankful. Right. A lot of people in the NRX, alt-right, whatever, you want to fetishize like medieval times and stuff. It's like, people fucking died from little infections in their 20s and had to go shit in a hole in the ground and stuff. Like, things are pretty good. Okay. And every time you walk into a grocery store, you should feel that above all else, this bountiful, giant building full of relatively easily affordable food. So yeah, there's problems in the modern world, but every once in a while, step back and realize that we got shit pretty good. All right. I mean, for most of humanity, for most of history, life was a struggle to survive. And, I'm complaining that I'm too fat. All right. My biggest problem is that I have shit too good when you look at it. So, yeah, the modern world ain't so bad if we're all going to just step back and calm down for a second. If we could just fix a few problems with it, it'd be fucking paradise. At least as close as you can get this side of the Garden of Eden. So that said, I walk into a grocery store. When you're trying to lose weight, again, step back for a moment and just realize how spoiled I am compared to most of humanity throughout most of history to even have access to such a beautiful thing as a grocery store. But when I step back, when I'm trying to lose weight, I'm trying to eat right. really is amazing how little of what's sold there is actual fucking food. And I mean, yeah, it's all edible. It's all, you can survive off all of it. But I mean, so much of it's just high octane garbage, you know? Um, I mean, the vast majority of it is some manner of processed and flavored corn, if we want to break it down here. I mean, you go in there and you just see garbage just everywhere, and you're like, no, I don't want fucking, cheesy poofs, and I don't want fucking Pepsi. I'm not trying to eat that garbage right now. So you walk by that, you get into the actual produce section, which is a shockingly small part of this giant ass store when you step back and think about it. The actual real food section, shockingly small. But yeah, for dinner tonight, I had did up some Mexican style stuffed mushrooms and like some hot, like you portobello cap, a little bit of hot sauce in it, um, some kind of Mexican cheese blend like shredder and Colby Jack, I think. A little bit of chives, some sun-dried tomatoes, basic stuff like that. A little bit of sour cream on the side. Really good meal. I tell you, you need to know how to cook. You need to learn how to cook, and it's far more rewarding than a lot of people think. Yeah, I like that I've been messing around in the kitchen more. It's easier to eat right that way. Because I mean, if you want to go out to eat, basically, what am I gonna? If I'm trying to go out to eat on a diet, what am I gonna just go to Salad Works all the fucking time? I mean, um, so yeah, it's easier to eat right that way, and it's ultimately cheaper. Dog whine in the background. Um, God, it breeds fucking drama queens. Huh. So, what was I going to talk about? I don't know. Should I spin the wheel of my hate boners? Let's see. Let's see. Hey, Bechtloff, you're going to watch American Assassin movie based off of some good books, a little bit neocon, though. I didn't really have any interest in it. I mean, I think Michael Keaton's in that, isn't he? He's pretty good, but yeah, I didn't have a ton of interest in it. Bechtloff, go to farm stands. They have great produce in the country. The stands aren't nearly as paused as at the city new mail stands. Yeah, but a lot of the farm stands around here are run by the Amish. I don't like to do business with them if I can avoid it. Spin your hate boner wheel. We want to see you fully erect. I got a good. Just before I hopped on here, I was witness to some Catholic nonsense on Twitter, so I could go off on that. Everybody keeps telling me I'm going off on the Catholics too much, though, so I don't know. But, whole bunch of that fucking Mary worship nonsense of theirs. I mean, really, if I wanted to engage in goddess worship, I'd go hang out with the Wiccans in the woods. At least the girls were demons in the sack back in the day. But yeah, the Mary worship shit. I just really, guys. I always thought that was like a fucking stereotype of Catholics. No, they don't actually do that. They don't really do that, do they? But no, No, they do. They do. Yeah, it's they pray to her too. Apparently, pray to her. How about that? Fucking ridiculous. Catholics don't worship. Matt Forney says Catholics don't worship Mary. Mexicans do. I got news for you guys. Like the Mexicans, that's the future of the Catholic Church. The R-types among you are the future of that church. That is an increasingly R-type church. Because as an organization, it made the mistake of taking that no birth control policy, which is arguably beneficial when applied to K-type Europe, and applying it to R-type regions of the world. And it's not going to have turned out well long term. I mean, already you got an R-type pope. So, let's see. A lot of Catholics, somebody in the chat, a lot of Catholics believe Mary is without sin and didn't have any more children in spite of biblical references to the contrary. Yeah, it specifically, the Bible specifically points to, what was it, James, the brother of Jesus? Half brother, I suppose. And no, nothing in it says Mary was without sin. You know, Mary was a particularly pious Jewish girl, but she was not without sin. This Queen of Heaven nonsense that the Catholics go on about. No, Mary called Christ her Savior, just like the rest of us. But yeah, the one guy had hopped into some old thread, and he was actually arguing from a biblical standpoint, so he's obviously not Catholic. And he was arguing with the Catholics about the Mary worship and stuff like that. A few of the people he was arguing with, I think actually I'd muted. Let's see. Catholics don't worship saints. We pray to them because they're closer to God and therefore can relay our prayers to him first. Get it right, Bechtloff. You're sounding like a chick track. Well, you could actually pray to God. If you're born again, if you're saved, then you already have an intercessor with the Father, and that's Christ. I mean, you're not supposed to pray to anybody but God. Prayer is kind of an act of worship in and of itself. Not worship, veneration, the same way you venerate elders, only more so. Yeah, I don't pray to my elders. Even a broken chick track is right twice a day. Hey, the guy was a bit tone deaf at times, but wasn't all that wrong on a lot of things. A bit hysterical at times, but you don't pray to them. You ask them to convey the prayer to God, or you could just pray to God. Matt Forney says Bechtloff man does whatever a Bechtloff can. Streams it live any size. Mows down Amish just like flies. Look out, here comes Bechtloff man. Yeah, well, I'm not fond of the Amish, that's for sure. Somebody says, what if God's mad at you? Well, then you confess your sin and he's faithful and just to forgive you. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Before I forget, because otherwise I will forget. Let's go ahead and do the sponsors. Sponsors for this live stream. We got two of them down there. Two different books you can check out. So the first one, go ahead and read the ad copy here. You'll see that is the Raven. What is it? Ravendale. Yes. Are you interested in science fiction in a science fiction story? How about one with a futuristic city in the sky where everyone can fly and nobody knows why because nobody cares? All the while, one girl is about to uncover the secret and learning that some knowledge should remain buried. Well, then Ravendale is for you. Pre-order your copy at the link down below. And that actually sounds pretty interesting. I might check it out myself. And the other one, I mentioned this in a stream the other day, but Veritas Morte. I'm always bad at pronouncing things. But Lucien Bandemeyer, Crown Prince of the Korathi Empire, looking forward to adventure and excitement and glory for his first campaign of outside of the Empire star systems. Instead, he found frustration and betrayal. An assassination attempt coupled with unexpected military catastrophe put him squarely in the center of a galaxy-wide struggle for power. With his father near death and his most trusted advisors not above suspicion, Lucien sets out to right the military situation and discover the assassin's identity. But he is young and inexperienced, and finding these answers might prove more costly than Lucien ever imagined. So that's Veritas Morte. You can check that out down below in the description there. And yeah, also down below you can see the tip jar where you can send me some shekels. That's greatly appreciated. Somebody says Protestant crusades against Catholics win, Bechtloff. Oh no, we're too splintered to do anything like that. But don't worry. They might eventually just be eaten by their own corruption. Rini says these are the same sponsors as the Lion King. Oh, this is a great comment talking about, all the praying to saints and stuff. Ever since Christ's sacrifice, can't talk tonight. Ever since Christ's sacrifice on the cross and rending of the curtain in the temple, Jews and Catholics alike have been eagerly trying to sew the curtain back up. That is what all that adding all that extra shit on, that's exactly what it is. You're trying to sew the curtain back up. And it doesn't need to be sewn. It is finished. People were talking about diversity in comics in the chat here. There was a couple of comics. There was a few books this week, actually. What did I get that was good this week? There was a Power Rangers Justice League crossover and a Batman Shadow crossover, both of which wrapped up. And what else? But both of those were good. The Justice League Power Ranger one was extremely fun. What else? What else came out this week? The DC Comics metal thing continued. It was last one shot. It was so stupid. It wrapped around and managed to be cool again. Meanwhile, Marvel Legacy managed to just be stupid. I gave that one a shot, and it was terrible. Venomverse though was pretty good that Marvel's doing. What else? Those are the only Venomverse is the only Marvel book I could recommend. The rest of it's trash. What else? DC had a few good books. Oh, here we go in the chat with the excuses. The same percentage of Protestant leaders fuck little boys. Well, given that, according to a lot of estimates I've seen, half of the entire leadership structure of the Catholic Church is sodomites, I don't believe that. But even if I did, it's not the crime, it's the cover-up. I don't know of a lot of Protestant churches that systematically cover it up, and any that do should be burnt to the ground as an institution, just as I believe the Catholic Church should. Any institution that systematically covers up for pedophilia should be burnt to the ground. Any institution that Penn states it should be burnt to the ground. Let's see what we got in the chat here. Somebody says scripture indicates praying to the dead may be necromancy. I'm not sure where you get. It could be. It doesn't sound out of line, and but I'd need to see an actual scripture or verse there. Bechtloff, you read Dark Knight Metal, The Red Death. Yeah, the Red Death one was pretty good. The Murder Machine one, though, was eye-rolling, but still fun. As for just praying to God, the logic of praying to saints is the same as the logic of using networking /friends /nepotism to get the job instead of applying blind. There's the logic. Well, here's the thing, though. I'm saved. I'm already a son of God. What more nepotism do I need? I don't understand. Oh, I gotta talk to the saints for. No, you don't. That's decidedly unchristian. Let's see. Somebody says, "What's the beef with the Amish?" Oh, good Lord, how much time do we get? They're backwards and smelly. That's. Let's see. Protestants want to smash Leonardo's David for being an idol. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't be fond of it if y'all were worshiping it. Let's see. The networking excuse makes no fucking sense. Holy shit. Yes, I agree. Let's see. If you have to pray to saints so God hears your prayers, then your God is quite limited in his omniscience. Catholics worshiping statues is why we can't have nice things. They really are halfway to pagan in their theology. It says it makes sense when you consider that Catholicism is a product of feudal society, where Protestantism is a product of capitalist society. Well, actually, I would argue capitalist society is a product of Protestantism. Even saying Protestantism it's almost too broad. It's basically, you really have to be more specific to nail down anything really meaningful. The gates of hell may not be able to defeat the Catholic Church, Bechtloff. However. Actually, I don't know. If it looks to me like the gates of hell are doing a pretty fine job. Again, half of your leadership are fags. Half. Gay orgies going on at the Vatican. The Pope's a fucking Marxist. Covering up little boy rape. Wait, gates of hell don't need to do shit. Why should it bother? Let's see. What are your thoughts on Mexican folk Catholicism? I mean, as if there's a distinction. That's basically what Catholicism will be going forward. Look to the more R types of the world where Catholicism flourishes, and you look to Catholicism's future. Hugh Hefner just died. Holy shit. We've got a bit of breaking news here. Hugh Hefner just died. Let me see if I can look this up. Hugh Hefner, death. Here we go. Hugh Hefner dead, 2017. This is today, yeah. News of businessman Hugh Hefner's death spread quickly earlier this week, causing concern among some fans. However, September 20th, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so rumors of the alleged demise gained traction on Tuesday. So he's been dead for a few days and nobody confirmed it. At about 11 a.m. Eastern on Tuesday, our beloved businessman Hugh Hefner passed away. Hugh Hefner was, say why? What did he pass? What did he die from? It's not really. Does any in the chat? Does anybody know what he died of? I mean, aside from being 104, did his dick just finally fall off and he bled out, or what? Let's see. Drowned in pussy. Somebody saying ass cancer. Somebody is saying who is Hugh Hefner. He's this guy that's slightly less degenerate than your average Catholic priest. Let's see. Who's going to clean up all the dog shit at the Playboy Mansion now? It just says natural causes. I mean, come on. For somebody that's, what was he? I think he was like 91. I'm not sure the actual age, but I know he was easily in his 90s. I'm praying for anal cancer because it would be the funniest. Slightly more degenerate than Armored Skeptic. Well, at least Hefner could get laid. I mean, that's not true. Armored Skeptic is able to bang that 12-year-old girl that's bald. Man. Allergic reaction to a condom. Well, that doesn't seem likely. Supposedly, he refused to wear condoms at least in later years. I mean, when you're already like 104, who cares? Yeah, how about that? I always kind of felt bad for him, if I'm being honest with you. And I know that, like, that sounds like it sounds like, the way like a gamma male says to an alpha, like, oh, I pity you. But honestly, I kind of did, because he really looked miserable. He really looked like he wasn't enjoying any of it anymore. Hush up, you little brat. Somebody's saying, like, do you think Armored Skeptic strokes shoe on head's mostly bald skull when they fuck? Wow. Let's see. Yeah, somebody said he seemed pathetic the last couple of decades. Matt Forney just says, I guarantee you the Chew on Head has said, fuck me like my real daddy at least once to Armored Skeptic. Oh, man. No chill from Chew on Head. So he says, wait, Chew on Head is bald. Yeah, apparently that's the rumor. Chew on Head had this like nervous twitch or something where she like pulled out her own hair constantly, and that's led to her being like half bald permanently. So she actually wears wigs. That's what I hear, at least. I don't have that confirmed. Shut up, you little brat dog. Trying to please this dog. Let's see. So he says that's hilarious. I guess talking about Sean Ed. Bill Maher can't grab the pussy now. I'm not sure what that's referring to. Sorry, 1 second, guys. I gotta release this little dog here. Let's see. So was Shoe on Head a Catholic schoolgirl? I wouldn't doubt it. She's one of those fucking fedora atheists, and a lot of those grew up Catholic. So apparently Shoe on Head tearing her own hair out isn't a rumor. She wrote about it. Let's see. Somebody says, what would be hell for you, Hefner? What punishment would he get? Hell for you, Hefner, is basically what he had on Earth. I mean, I know that sounds, I know that sounds too light, but I mean, basically, you Hefner's hell could easily just be everything he had on Earth, but just forever bored with it. Hey, Bechtloff, on a lighter topic, you play any more Samus Returns? I haven't finished it yet, trying to take my time and take it all in. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to really dig into it more. Like I gotta fight another Metroid in it. I haven't had a chance to really. Pardon me. Some of those boss fights are a bit of a pain in the ass. They're not huge. It's just you got to really sit down and work on it. Bechtloff is right. He created hell for himself and took it with him. Yeah, it's like that. I guess it was an old Twilight Zone or something where the guy goes to, the guy dies and he's in the afterlife and he just gets everything he wants all the time and eventually becomes so bored with it he can't stand it and he says, "Oh, I'd rather be in hell." And somebody says to him, "Where did you think you were?" Let's see. Somebody just said what I said in the chat there, but there's a delay, so let's see. Hefner would make a great Cenobite. Yeah, he would. Yeah, he would. like I said, I always kind of felt bad for the guy. Every time I saw him, he just seemed so dead to it all. I mean, yeah, quote unquote, any guy would love to be Hugh Hefner. Yeah, you'd love to be Hugh Hefner for like a week. You know, I'm sure it loses its shine far quicker than any of us imagine. I mean, you ever like with like a girlfriend or something? I've done this. You have like the romantic weekend away where you just fucking constantly, just fucking over and over again. It's like a few days of that, and you just so done with it for a while. You just like, oh man, your dick looks like you got pushed out of a moving truck. Like you just, let's see. Somebody says Cenobite Mansion after dark. Somebody says, I personally believe people's souls can die long before their bodies do. Well, I mean, it depends on how you say die, but yeah, they can definitely die down. Somebody says probably not one of those women loved him. He had no one. Well, kind of he did. He had a wife early on that he promptly ended up divorcing. She actually ran large portions of the business with him, and he supposedly had kids with her and stuff. I always got the impression that that was a woman he probably legitimately loved and likely loved him back, but just too broken to make it work. And I can't help but wonder, like every time, a pretty little 19-year-old thing was sitting on his lap, hopping on his dick, that in his eyes, she was never as pretty as his love was back when she was 19. Let's see. Somebody says Mark Zuckerberg has no soul. Damn near. I mean, I'm basically the mindset that anything with any level of sentience has a soul, but it doesn't mean it doesn't have a black, twisted little soul or a shriveled, half-dead one. Bechtloff, would you rather spend a week in an Amish village or go on a date with Bruce Jenner? Well, fun fact, an Amish village is just a figment of your imagination. This is a common misconception. Everybody thinks that, the Amish are off in their own thing, like this M. Night Shyamalan fucking village. No, they're just scattered here and there amongst, normal civilized people. But no, they don't. There's no such thing as an Amish village. The only Amish village in Lancaster is this stupid little tourist trap, quote unquote educational on how the Amish live, called the Amish Village. Which, as much as I despise the Amish, the fucking tourists that think they're cute and quaint, holy shit! It's like, where is ISIS when you need them? Let's see what we got going on here in the chat. Amish village, you mean a concentration camp? Yeah, I wish. Fun fact, Hugh Hefner's daughter, Christy, used to be Playboy CEO. I wouldn't doubt it. He was supposedly pretty close to a lot of his children. It's the one really redeeming thing you can say about the guy. Again, I never really wished a ton of ill will on the guy, to be honest. He never struck me as somebody where I'm like, fuck that guy. To hell with him. I mean, I'm sure that's what ended up happening. But yeah, I always felt very much just pity for him. Somebody says, Bechtloff, are you ex-Amish? Oh, no, thankfully not. Somebody says, I think Hugh Hefner's life was like Bill Murray in the movie Groundhog Day. Yeah, I kind of see what you're saying with that. All right, Bechtloff, talk about the Captain Cummings video to Mundane Matt. Thoughts and questions. I don't know what. I don't really watch I'm subscribed to both Captain Cummings and Diversity in Comics, and I almost never watch their stuff, if I'm being honest with you, for the simple fact that they pump out like shit tons of videos. I can't keep up with it. I've just follow them on Twitter is where, but yeah, I don't watch a lot of the. Someone says, "Are you Pennsylvania German?" On my father's side, yeah. Well, actually, no. On my father's side, my grandfather came over with his father around the turn of the last century. So, oh, hush, you little brat. Yeah, I'm not letting you run around right now because I don't trust you. You get into shit. You're still too much of a puppy like that. You don't run around unsupervised. Let's see. Somebody says Hugh Hefner was more of a comical figure with the robe and pipe and pretensions to be a philosopher when everyone knew he was just a scumbag. Yeah, like I said, I just always felt bad for him. Somebody says that dog's still alive. I thought you would have killed him long ago. No, I could never be really mean to a dog. He's no Loki though, that's for sure. Aaron Clary in the chat. How about that? Got Aaron Clary, Matt Forney, and Davis Arini all bombing around in the chat. Let's see. The dog has secret weapon, puppy dog eyes. What if it was an Amish dog? Actually, you don't want to get dogs from the Amish. They have problems. A lot of times Amish yank them off the titty too soon and they don't get the proper socialization. So the Amish, and they inbreed them constantly, like kind of like the Amish do it themselves. Yeah, the Amish run just fucking puppy mills out in this area. I mean, conditions that would make a fucking Cenobite blush. Somebody says, Hugh Hefner's son refuses to date enhanced bimbos. Well, good for him. Let's see. Star Trek doubling down, taking the knee and praying. Oh, yeah, that new Star Trek show looks like ass. The Orville is a much better Star Trek show than the new Star Trek show. Now, don't get me wrong. The Orville, I like it. I don't love it. It has the potential to really grow into a good show. I mean, a lot of shows start off with rough first seasons. I think the Orville has a lot of potential. I hope it has a chance to reach that potential. Star Trek Discovery looks like an absolute fucking dumpster fire from beginning to end. Not only that, I just realized, or I just learned here recently, it's not even on CBS. It's on their fucking CBS streaming service. They expect you to pay for that garbage. Fuck you. I'd rather watch season 1 TNG than Star Trek Discovery, okay? I'd rather watch the really terrible TOS episodes. You know, I mean, what is it they always say about the original series? 70 episodes, about 30 good ones. Yeah, I'd rather watch the 40 not so good ones. All right. You know, where like Spock smells the flower and turns into a hippie or dumb shit like that. I'd rather watch those. Okay. I'd rather watch season 1 DS9. That's fucking rough. I'd rather watch the worst Voyager episodes, like where Tom goes infinite speed and turns into a lizard monster. Like, I'd rather watch that. Okay. I'd rather watch Enterprise. And I mean, basically the whole of that show is ass. I'd rather watch the fucking Hanna-Barbera Star Trek. I think it was Hanna-Barbera Star Trek cartoon from the 60s. I think they did the animation for it. It looks like it. Looks like that cheap ass Johnny Quest animation. Yeah, that new Star Trek show is bad, and everyone involved should feel bad. So he says, Bechtloff, seriously, do these leftist media moguls not understand their SJW shit isn't selling? I don't understand why. I don't know. It's just, I don't understand why they're doing this. Somebody says Filmation did the Star Trek in the 70s. Okay, well, I would have guessed Hanna-Barbera, but Bechtloff, have you heard of Aiden Paladin? She's great. Had a live stream dealing problem with the STDs. I've watched some of her stuff. She's all right, yeah. I'd rather watch Noam Chomsky's speeches than the new Star Trek. Yeah, it looks just like ass. And then that stupid fucking actress was like, finally, Star Trek has a black lead role. Are you fucking kidding me? you don't know about DS9 and you're working on a Star Trek show. Not only that, okay, yeah, DS9, which I think was like 90, what, 93, something like that. It's been a while since that fucking show came on. And there it is, black lead role, right? But not only that, I mean, Star Trek has had black main characters since the fucking 60s, since the original show. You had Aurora, in TNG, you had Geordi. You had two black actors. I mean, Worf wasn't a quote unquote black character, he's a Klingon, but you had two main black actors. Hell, fucking Voyager had Tuvok, and he's one of the more interesting characters in that show. That show was flawed, but had its occasional moments. Like, and again, and finally a black lead character, motherfucker. You just. Somebody in the chat says Richard Spencer isn't stupid, just evil. And I think he's a little stupid. Actually, that's not quite right. It's more just really bad judgment, But yeah, he's probably evil too. Star Trek Discovery is an insult not just to Star Trek fans, but to sci-fi fans everywhere. Oh yeah, and I called it back in 2009. I knew Star Trek was dead with the reboot. I knew it was dead with the reboot. I knew there would never be anything of value to it again. And I was right. I mean, yeah, there's been like some comic books and some novels and shit that have come out since then that I'm sure have been good. I've actually read a few decent Star Trek comic books since then, all of which set in the old continuity. But yeah, as a franchise, it died in 2009. Yeah, it had rough patches before that, but that was the point at which I knew it was beyond repair. That was the point in which I knew it was never going to be good again. Okay. So he says got to tune in for work, watch the rest tomorrow. I don't know, probably not going to be that much tomorrow. Or probably not going to be that much more. I've already gone on for about an hour. That's about what I go on for, so. Richard Spencer and TJ Kirk. What is this about them? Somebody says, ever watch it? Crusher Joe, recommend it. I know it's Animu. I haven't watched it, no. I really not sure I've ever heard of it. So he says, what's more degenerate, Bechtloff, getting a Rick and Morty tattoo or hanging out with Richard Spencer? Well, I mean, I guess getting the Rick and Morty tattoo, but depending on how badly hanging out with Richard Spencer goes, that might actually ruin your life more because you can at least get a tattoo removed. But I mean, hanging out with Richard Spencer, you never know if you're going to end up in jail or dead. So he says, on par with Cowboy Bebop. I liked Cowboy Bebop, yeah. It's actually the more common or the more popular animes that I really just can't fucking stand. Like Naruto. Naruto's fucking ass. And Dragon Ball Z. I could live for 1,000 fucking years and I would never be able to grasp why people like Dragon Ball Z. I don't fucking see it. I certainly don't get why it's that fucking popular. Let's see. Somebody says more like Dragon Ball Zero. Yeah, I think Dragon Ball Z is shit. I had a roommate that was all about that show and watch it with him. Because I mean, it'd be on every fucking day. Just like I don't get it, dude. Yeah, I don't. I mean, it's every bit as stupid as Sailor Moon, but at least Sailor Moon occasionally gets a chuckle out of me, and in a pinch you could whack to it. So he says a lot of my gym teachers were obsessed with Dragon Ball Z. Well, that's fitting because aren't gym teachers usually dumb as a fucking brick? Dragon Ball Z is for like the shallow end of nerd culture, I guess. The paste eating end. Bechtloff likes an anime. Yeah, there's just some anime I like. I like what's that director that did like Princess Mononoke and Spirited Away and stuff. I usually like most of his movies. Um, Even manga, like I've read some manga I've enjoyed. What the hell is that manga with like the spirit the spirits were haunting the town and always manifesting as spirals? Uzumaki, I want to say, but I might have that wrong. Um, I enjoyed that. It kind of petered out. Like the writer really didn't know where he was going with it, or she was going. I don't know who the fuck it was. I never know Japanese names, but they didn't really know where they were going with it. So it sort of petered out, but it started really strong. Um, I read some mangas based on stuff like Mega Man and Legend of Zelda and Pokemon even. They were all pretty decent. Some of the Zelda ones are actually pretty damn good. The Mega Man ones were surprisingly good too. Almost as good as the Archie comics, the Archie comics Mega Man series. Um, what else did I pick up? There's a few. Like I read the first volume of Attack on Titan. Thought it was just painfully overrated. I read the first volume, the first two volumes of Rom the One Half. Again, it's all right. Painfully overrated though. I actually read a Batman manga that was published like in the '60s, back when the TV show was big. And I mean, it's like Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson is Batman and Robin, but everything else is different. There's no other supporting characters or villains that you know of from American stuff. It's just Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson reimagined in a more manga like setting. It was pretty good. What else? Oh, I read some of the original Astro Boy. Damn charming stuff. Really good. Um, I mean, there's good stuff out there. It's that's what many things I bitch about. It's more the fans that irk me than the actual subject matter itself. I know, buddy. I disturbed you. He's sitting on my lap. I had my one, leg, my ankle on my other knee kind of thing. And my foot was falling asleep, something fierce. So I had to switch it. And he just looked at me like I annoyed his, how dare I disturb his nap? Um, So he says, are the Japanese considered honorary Aryans because they make animated underage twink porn? I couldn't tell you. Oh, you know what else I read? I read the I started reading. I haven't finished yet. I read the Metroid mangas. They're actually officially are not reprinted in English, which I think is a shame. I don't know why. You'd think the same company that does the Zelda ones could do it. But there's a Metroid fan site, I think Metroid Database, that went ahead and scanned them and did an actual translation, which, from what I understand, is a solid translation. And it reads well, so I think it's a solid translation. Yeah, there's some manga I like. I mean, a lot of it, I'll gravitate towards stuff based off video game franchises I know because I'm familiar with it. I mean, a lot of it's like I go to the manga section and I don't know shit about any of this, and half of it's geared to fucking 13-year-old girls. So I don't want any of those. And then there's stuff that gets popular. I'm like, okay, I'll check that out. Like Rom the One Half. I remember that's supposedly was one of the big things that started the manga boom in the US. And again, it was all right. It's overrated, but it was all right. Attack on Titan, everyone wants to suck its dick lately, although that's kind of died down. Um, but it was meh. Um, let's see what we got going on in chat here while I was rambling on. Somebody says you sit weird too. Yeah, I usually have my legs crossed like that. Like I'm not gonna actually like I can't cross my legs like a woman. So yeah, I like to prop the leg up on the other knee sometimes. Poor Clary has to be up at 1 a.m. for work. The original Dragon Ball was an adaptation of a classic work, Journey to the West. Yeah, I think that's why Goku was on the cloud and had the monkey tail, like from that original thing. A lot of things from Japan borrow heavily from that. People sucked Attack on Titan shitty cock a year or two ago. Yeah, I think it was probably a year ago when I read it. Just was like, I'll pick up the first volume, see where the fuss is about. And it's not even like it sucked. I didn't think it sucked. I just thought, meh. Um, now they suck the shitty cock of One Punch Man. Yeah, I read the first volume of One Punch Man. I think it's massively overrated. Again, I didn't even think it was bad. I just thought it was massively overrated. Let's see. Anything else going on in chat here? Anyone heard of? Let's see. Somebody says I enjoyed One Punch Man. It's good satire. I mean, I thought like Empowered is better satire of the superhero genre, and it even has a manga anime manga art style just like that. It's Adam Warren did it, and he very much has an anime style. Let's see. I recommend Trigun and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Okay. So he says One Punch Man greater than the guy in the red suit who hangs out with lame X-Men. I don't know who that is. So he says Berserk is the top rated manga. I keep hearing about Berserk. Might have to check it out. I really liked Astro Boy, actually. I mean, obviously it was written in a much different time, but very charming as hell. Dark Horse just put out a bunch of volumes of old Astro Boy. I think they're up to like 7 volumes, and they're really thick too. They're big ass fucking volumes of stuff. Oh, Deadpool is the guy in the red suit who hangs out with lame X-Men. Okay. No, I don't think One Punch Man is not as good as the Deadpool movie. No. Let's see. Somebody says Trigon written by a Christian. I might have to give it a shot then. Playboy magazine is the best manga. Well, of course, we all know Corey in the House is the best animu. Davis Marie says, I like the Deadpool movie better when they called it Friends. I'm really not seeing you there. Not seeing the connection you're going for there. Playboy magazine is the best manga. I tell you what, Playboy used to have some really cool cartoons back in the day. Well, I think I'm probably gonna wrap this up. I do got to get up somewhat decently early. So yeah, if you enjoy the live stream, check out the 2 sponsors below. A couple of different sci-fi books you can check out. And also there's the tip jar down below. You know, if you enjoy the show, your tips help me keep doing what I'm doing. Tips of any size, greatly appreciate it. I mean, keeps and support the alternative media you enjoy, not just me. I'm not just saying me. If you're like, fuck Bechtloff, I don't even like him. Well, then fine, don't send me anything. But guys like Stefan Molyneux, guys like Christopher Cantwell back when you were allowed to. You know, Alex Jones, the buttstuff.jizz guys, even. I mean, whatever the alternative media sources that you find entertaining, that you find enlightening, that you find informative, support them. And if it's me, if I'm among, the guys that give you a lot of entertainment, informative, whatever, then toss some shekels my way. All right. That's about all I got for tonight, folks. I want to thank you all for listening. Bechtloff out.